Right, good morning. Is it early on a Saturday morning when I would prefer to be in bed? Yes. Is it... Am I late? Yes. What on earth am I doing talking to you in my dressing gown from my flat when usually we're talking about Formula Student? Well, that's a very good question. And the answer to that is that I'm about to head off to the Prescott Hill Climb, which is as a guest of the Bugatti Trust. The Bugatti Trust being those wonderful people over at the Bugatti Museum that sponsor several Formula Student teams, including Glasgow Caledonian, University College London, Coventry, UE, amongst others. And I've been invited to join them. So I'm going to head over there now. I am late. And as much as I wish I could go in my dressing gown, I think I'm going to have to get changed. Okay, what do you think? Shirt appropriate? I don't know. Am I overdressed? I can't tell. Yeah, we'll see. But now usually, of a morning, my breakfast, unlike James Hunt, would consist of toast and cereal. But rather kindly, the Bugatti Trust and the wonderful Angela have said they're going to lay breakfast on for those of us coming from Formula Student. So that gives me more reason to get on the road. So in approximately 2 hours, all being well, I should be talking to you from Gloucestershire.
That was a drive. Everything was fine. M4, M5, no problem. But then getting off and into Gloucestershire, they decided to close the road right into the hill climb. And then the car park's full, and I had people behind me being like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I don't know the roads." Yeah, but we're here now. Breakfast time, I think. I'm hungry. I don't know about you. Depends on when you're watching this. Someone just came up to me and said, "Thanks for opening the road," because I got out of the car, so there was a whole queue behind me. Clearly everyone wanted to get to the hill. Everyone wanted to get to the hill climb, so I got out of my car and had a word with the workmen. They were like, "Yeah, fine, if there's that much traffic." So I physically moved beside myself. Oh dear, excuse the shaky cam. I'm not like Sharon, I'm not professional or slick, and I haven't got one of those proper vlogging cameras, but look at this! Look at that! Gotta go find the Bugatti Trust now, because, well, I'm a guest of them. I gotta go and find all the other Formula Student teams as well. They must be around here somewhere. There's a lot of cars. I love the smell of petrol in the morning. Well, the hill climb is fully underway now. Several of the teams that the Bugatti Trust sponsor are here. Here we go, who's this going to come through now? Let's have a look, who's this? Oh, it's a nice MX-5, we like that. That's what I love about hill climbing, it's one of the most accessible forms of motorsport in the UK. You can take quite literally any car, put a roll hoop in it, and then rag it up a hill, which I love. Of the teams that are here, 2 of them will be running their cars. 2 teams you haven't actually seen at Silverstone for different reasons. They've got their cars working. UCL and Glasgow Caledonian will both be running their cars up the hill. Looking forward to that one. And UE will also be demonstrating their car and their unique powertrain car. Well, I found a familiar face. How are you doing? You alright?
Good, thanks, and you?
I'm alright. I'm enjoying myself. Are you enjoying yourself?
I absolutely always.
It might be worth explaining who you are.
I'm Rodrigo, and I'm last year's president of UE Formula Student.
UE have got a really unique powertrain that you're going to be displaying later on today.
Unfortunately not running today due to slight technicalities with MSUK, but we're still very happy to be here.
But you are doing a demo of the engine statically?
Potentially, we've not really cleared that one up, but we'd like to running.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, oh okay, yeah, definitely possible then.
So, how much of a difference does sponsorship from the Bugatti Trust make to the team?
It's humongous. Every year, obviously, we get the donation and we get the wonderful opportunity to come to Prescott Hill Climb. The team at Prescott, the Bugatti Trust, support us so much throughout the year. They're always supporting us at all our events, and they're just a wonderful group of people. The opportunity to come to Prescott Hill Climb, I think it's very unique. We get to meet all the competitors. And they've obviously got a lot of engineering experience practically. It's great to speak with them, actually understand a bit more. It's also great to speak to them and show off our car to the public. People get to see what Formula Student's about.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's a fantastic event. It's great to see you.
Yeah, and you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Well, as it turns out, GCU are way more prepared than me, and they've lent me a microphone so we can do this properly, because here are the two teams that are going to be demonstrating their Formula Student cars up the hill at Prescott. We've got the guys from GCU and UCL Racing. Would you be able to introduce yourselves quickly for those that don't know you?
Yes, so I'm Robbie McGregor. I'm the project manager for GCU Racing.
Hello, I'm Leonardo Piglia. I'm the design leader at UCL.
Now, this is really quite exciting because at Silverstone we weren't lucky enough to see either of your cars running, so this is the first time this year that we'll get to see GCU and UCLR running their cars.
Yes, first time in public as well, so probably quite scary for us. We've done some private testing, but this is the first time the car's ever been out in public, so we'll see how it goes.
First showing in public, excellent stuff. I'll make sure I capture this, I'll do my best to. And what about you? Because you guys haven't slept.
Yes. No, okay, so this is our old car, so the one that we ran at 2024 Formula Student competition, so we know it runs. We just let it sit for a while because we wanted to design a completely new car this year. We went to competition having a concept class, and then next year we will build a full new car, so we will have two cars basically.
Driving at a hill climb, dramatically different from circuit racing like you guys would be used to at FS. How are you feeling about a hill climb as the first demonstration of your cars?
Well, it looks quite steep, but we should be alright. I did see Prescott on the telly last week, so that's been my track walk. A couple of hairpins, but we should be alright. It should be easier. That's what I'm hoping.
So. No, it's an absolute honor, absolute pleasure. I'm scared about turn 3 because I know that so many cars 3-wheel up there because it's so steep. So that's the only thing I'm worried for, but really excited.
Because you guys may have had a bit of an excitement last year.
Yes, we did have an excitement last year. We had a problem with the wheel nut, and which came off. Hopefully that doesn't happen again, but we fixed it, so let's see.
I must say, scrutineering at Prescott seems a lot calmer than it does at FS.
I mean, yeah, we're not competing, we're parading, so that's probably why. But we passed scrutineering last year at FS, so should be fine.
And this is your first time through any sort of scrutineering, isn't it?
Well, we went through Scrut at FS this year on the Saturday and Sunday, and we're pretty close. We did alright with it, so hopefully we can get right the way through next year and onto the track. But no, car's been signed off as safe for today, so that's all we want.
Wonderful stuff. I'm really looking forward to seeing your cars up the hill, and it's a pleasure talking to you both. Very best of luck, and I'll see you guys around later.
Thank you.
Well, I'm here with the man himself from the Bugatti Trust. It might be worth introducing yourself, sir.
Well, I'm Alan Rippon, I'm chairman of the Bugatti Trust, and we sponsor Formula Student teams, which is great. So they're here at Prescott today, and it's an exciting day for all of us.
And it's a real pleasure to catch up with you, because you've sponsored several teams over numerous years. What's the impetus behind the sponsorship from the Bugatti Trust for Formula Student teams?
Well, the impetus is our desire to get people to learn about Ettore Bugatti and what he did, and to be inspired by what he did, so that they can pursue their own careers, whether that's design or manufacture, and the creation of some amazing products. So it's a very easy and natural fit for the trust.
It really is, and there is also an opportunity to come here to Prescott Hill Climb to show off their engineering.
Absolutely. The engineering is interesting, and it's interesting seeing the teams talking to the owners of modern racing cars, and both learning both ways, I suspect.
It's a joy to see. At Formula Student, we're always grateful for the support of sponsors such as yourself. If teams are interested in engaging with you about sponsorship, what are the routes and channels to go through?
They should talk to our curator. Our curator, Angela, is the lady that is very much engaged with the whole process. So that's, I think, the way to go. Speak to Angela, the curator.
And for those that aren't aware, what is the Bugatti Trust?
So the Trust is an organisation that was set up with an educational purpose, a charitable purpose, to inspire people by reference to the works of Ettore Bugatti and the things that he created. So he created cars, boats, trains, medical devices, all sorts of different things, which are inspirational for people who know something about Bugatti, and we like to introduce more people to what he did.
He was the dictionary definition of an engineer, wasn't he?
Well, absolutely. He really was a very clever individual whose mind was bursting full of ideas, and we like to see the young students from Formula Student here bursting with their own ideas.
They really do, and it's been a real pleasure talking to you, Alan. Thank you so much both for your time and your support.
Pleasure. Nice to talk to you.
Oddly enough, I'm actually here with someone incredibly special because you founded Glasgow Caledonian.
Yeah, I was one of the founding members of the Glasgow Caledonian team in its first year. In 2019 we tried to get set up.
So it's a fairly new team then?
Yeah, fairly new, especially when you compare it to the other two Glasgow teams that have been about for 15, 20 years.
Absolutely. And for those that don't know, you might want to introduce yourself as well.
Oh, hi. I'm TJ Scott. I was one of the people that founded Glasgow Caledonian's Formula Student team back in 2019.
And that's taken you to somewhere that we're quite familiar with on the Formula Student podcast because you've just finished your first year as a graduate at Mercedes HPP.
I have. During our first year of actual competition, which would have been 22 or 23, during judging, I ended up in contact with HPP and found myself with a grad offer out of it. Directly from Formula Student.
Directly from Formula Student. Out of the horse's mouth, you can't say fairer than that. What key skills did you learn during your time at Formula Student that set you up for working at Mercedes HPP?
You get a solid amount of resilience doing Formula Student. You get a fair amount of obstacles you've got to climb over to get a team like this working inside of a university. On top of that, you've got very little time to do it in. So it really gets you used to the kind of pressure of a motorsport environment. And it really does force you to work with a whole load of different people doing different things in different departments and find a way to turn that into an actual product at the end that works. Talking of working with different people, have you come across our old friend Dan Jones? I have very briefly worked with Dan Jones.
What's that like?
Do you know, it's pretty good because when he works in customer engineering, so if you're going to tell him something, it's usually bad news. I worked in integration briefly. And he always takes it very well, and he's always happy to give you a bit of advice and help and let you know it's not you he's upset with.
So you heard it here first, everyone from Formula Student is lovely. So it's clearly set you up for life, Formula Student, and it's a real pleasure to talk to someone who has had such an impact on their university, because before 2019 and yourself and the others that founded the team with you, there wasn't a GCU Formula Student team.
Nope. Not at all.
So massive congratulations on that, and I imagine just enjoy a very well-earned day off.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'll enjoy watching this going up the hill along with the other Formula Student teams here and some of the other spicier things that will be running up later.
I'm going to have a look at those. Do you want to come?
Yeah, absolutely.
Spot on. So we're wandering around now going through what I imagine would be the equivalent of the paddock if this was a circuit.
Yeah, very much so.
And hill climbing will differ dramatically from other forms of motorsport. What, in terms of setup, how does it differ?
Well, with most other forms of motorsport, you got to get around a circuit quite a few times. That means your car has to maintain its tyres. It's got to be fairly well behaved over time, and you want it to survive. And a hill climb, it's nice to take it home at the end of the day, but all it needs to do is be as fast as it can go up a hill once.
So these cars are going to be tuned for, one would assume, cornering rather than straight line speed?
Absolutely. Now, a hill climb only has so much of a straight on it, and some of these cars are getting up to 130, 140 miles per hour, don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, if you can't corner, you're not going to do too well here.
Absolutely. So if we turn round, the cars behind us, they do look like the bigger cousins of some of the Formula Student cars with significant wings.
Yes, you do see a lot of that in the smaller hill climb cars, but further over you start to find IndyCar engines, old Formula 1 engines, and some aerodynamics that honestly wouldn't look out of place at Monza.
Should we go and find those?
Let's go have a look.
TJ, we've been talking about the fact that a lot of these cars will run ex-F1 engines or ex-IndyCar engines. Where are they getting these power units from?
Well, I mean, you've got a couple of options. Quite a few of these engines, companies such as Judd or Cosworth still produce to spec today, so you can buy them brand new in a crate if you like. Alternatively, there's always people running these classic cars. They get a hold of old IndyCar engines, they get a hold of old Cosworth engines from teams that have been racing them, and then they just rebuild them factory fresh, put them into one of these.
So are these teams that have disbanded or are selling on old cars to keep them in the green, so to speak?
At times, yes, but generally speaking, a lot of your ex-F1 engines that turn up in here, they're not coming from current teams. They're coming from places like the old Footworks Arrow teams. They sold off pretty much everything when they collapsed. One of their old cars kicks about Knockhill near me, so the stuff does get out there.
Excellent stuff, and it's out here in the back of these cars, propelling them up the hill in really rather excellent fashion.
It is indeed, and it makes a really good noise when it flies by you.
Hell yeah. So the car behind us has got a pretty unique power unit, doesn't it?
It does. It's actually something you're starting to see quite a bit more of in things like hill climbing. For a very long time, they came in a car called a Radical and a couple of other race cars. And it's effectively custom to the company crankcase casting. custom crankshaft, and then the rest largely is based off of Suzuki Hayabusa, or there's a company using Yamaha parts to get a motorcycle-derived V8 that makes between 400 to whatever horsepower you want it to, between 3 and 4 litres, and revs to the absolute moon.
So basically what they've done is they've taken motorbike engine components, stuck it on a crankshaft, made the spec for the car itself to make an engine that would never exist anywhere else. It's supreme.
They are wonderful things, and there's a couple of companies out there making them, so if you fancy one, you can always try popping it in a road car.
Someone please do that. I want to see it. So we're here with an absolutely gorgeous looking car. Now you identified this as being possibly F2 or F3000.
Formula 2 or Formula 3000 most likely, and an older Repco Brabham.
So how do these differ from their larger Formula 1 cousins, and why are these so better for hill climbing?
Well, they're better for hill climbing because they're a fair bit cheaper than an old Formula 1 car. If you want a Formula 1 car from the 60s or 70s, you're going to be paying an awful lot of money, and they can be very hard to keep running.
That's a fair point, because unfortunately a budget is something that these people have to consider, as we do in Formula Student. So talk us through the engineering behind this, because to me it doesn't look too dissimilar from the sort of thing you might see in the paddock at Silverstone for FS weekend.
Well, to be honest with you, a lot of it probably isn't a million miles different. There's only so many ways to do good mechanical grip, which is what Formula Student is largely based around. They do have aerodynamics, but it is not the primary focus. Cars like this, back in the day, mechanical grip was what it was all about. You can see wings on it, but they're a bit early on, so you are just focused on getting as much stick out of the tyres as you can get, which leads you to some very similar setups to what we used to do in Formula Student.
So talk me through what we're seeing behind us and to the sides here.
Well, as we walk down this kind of section, we're going to get a big mix between sub 1000 or 1300cc open wheelers, which tend to be motorbike engine. You then get up to your above 1600 cc's, which can range from anything from naturally aspirated Suzuki Hayabusa engines to, when you really start to get into the big leagues, supercharged, turbocharged bike engines, supercharged, turbocharged road car engines, and ex-Indy and F1 car engines. So you can see some of these big guys with the really big wings pushing out, starting from 700 horsepower upwards on that little hill.
That would explain how they're able to get up there in 30 seconds flat.
That would explain it indeed.
So what sort of driving style is required for hill climbing? Because obviously you've got to make sure that you don't make a mistake, because there's not a lot of room for error. It's rather similar to Monaco in that regard, but also you've got to make sure that you are pushing as much power out of those corners as you possibly can. So how do drivers tackle it?
Generally speaking, it's a bit of a send. You have very narrow margins, but those tiny margins, the same as circuit racing or even Formula 1, are what win you the championship. And the guys that are driving here, they're just as on the limit as anyone else in any level of motorsport. In fact, these guys with the ex-IndyCar engines and etc., this is the top level of their motorsport, so they are just as committed as Lewis Hamilton or Lando Norris.
We're here in the Bugatti Trust with the lady that makes it all happen. It's Angela. Angela, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
I'm okay. The pressure of apparently being the lady who makes things happen, I'm not sure I can cope with that.
You do a remarkable job as the curator of the Bugatti Trust, and not only do you curate this wonderful place, but you also reach out to all the Formula Student teams and keep the sponsorship coming in, and we're all very grateful for that. What is it about Formula Student that attracts you guys to sponsoring the teams?
So Formula Student for us ticks a lot of boxes. Coming back to the work here at the Bugatti Trust, and I've got to say I'm the curator, but I work with an amazing team. We're a very small team, but everyone is incredibly committed to the original aims and objectives of the Bugatti Trust, which are educational. And I don't know if the sound is picked up of the engines roaring outside. What a lovely atmosphere to work in, you've got to agree. So Formula Student UK is all about nurturing future talent, young engineers, young thinkers who are doing their degrees in mechanical engineering, automotive engineering, motorsport engineering, electrical engineering, and they are, as part of their university experience, are experiencing proper motorsport competition. And we love sponsoring teams. At this point, I think this year we're sponsoring seven teams of the all-time record.
That's wonderful. So not only do the Bugatti Trust sponsor Formula Student teams, but you've got a fantastic exhibition on at the moment talking about a Bugatti and the Targa Florio. What is the Targa Florio?
So the Targa Florio is the fiercest of all road races in the mountains of Sicily. And everyone still today, 100 years later, says the most purpose-built, perfect car for competing at the Targa Florio 100 years ago is the Bugatti Type 35, or 37 or 51, and various derivatives. But it's this phenomenal road race that Bugatti won for the first time in 1925, again in 26, again in 27, I go on, 1928, 1929. And the Bugattis, the Type 35s in particular, with the tapered back, the tapered chassis, the brake drums integral to the wheel, which means that even though you've got 1,500 corners in one lap, when you change your tyres and your wheels, you get new brakes. It's perfect. The chassis is strong enough to handle well. It's a very light car. Women did incredibly well with it. So I must talk about Elizabeth Eunuch.
Now, I do appreciate, because this is a vlog, this is all appearing back to front if you're watching this, and unless someone very clever in the edit has managed to invert it. But who was Elizabeth Eunuch?
Elizabeth Eunuch's nickname was the Queen of the Steering Wheel. So I think a lot of people have heard of Helenice, who was the Bugatti Queen, who raced in the 20s and the 30s very successfully. Elizabeth Eunuch was a Czech competitor. Her husband also drove Bugattis. They were incredibly close to the Bugatti factory. The first people Ettore Bugatti sent the outline sketch of Bugatti Type 35 to were the Eunuchs, and she raced, and she did the Targa Florio.
Oh, fantastic. That's brilliant. So anyone could really drive this car?
Well, I think so, yes. Anyone should be so lucky. I think if you ever get the opportunity and someone says, would you like to drive a vintage Bugatti, you must say yes, Giles, promise me.
Trust me, I would give my right arm on my right leg. You can take your pick, any leg, any arm. I would love to drive one of these things.
Coming back to Elizabeth Eunuch, I don't know if we can see, if you can zoom in later onto this particular picture, she was the first person to do a roadmap for an event. So she walked the track over 12 days, taking notes, which gears she should be in, which, what's the racing line for this corner, and there were so many thousands of corners over the duration of the race. And with that, the following year, all the other competitors copied what she did. But Elizabeth Eunuch should take the entire credit for it.
That's fascinating. That's absolutely fascinating. And there's more like this at the Bugatti Trust, which you can come to here in Gloucester. How do people find you?
Google Bugatti Trust, and we should come up. We're at the foot of the historic Prescott hill climb, and we're Mondays to Fridays, 10 till 4. Please come and visit.
You can't say fairer than that.